We're in the parks for our weekly Disneyland construction update, and we've got some really exciting news from downtown Disney where the picture is starting to come into focus a little bit. It also looks like demo has begun at Splash Mountain, and we may see a future for Donald's Splash Pad. But we'll start in DCA where Soarin is open, but scrim and scaffolding are still up. And certainly it does not appear that the scrim and scaffolding has deterred any of the guests from getting into the queue on this day at Soarin around the world. And it looks like even though they have those walls up in the standby queue, they still have room for standby guests. And there you can see that the walls do extend completely around the building, and the scrim is all-encompassing as well. So much scrim. I'd like to take this opportunity to ask Disney if they can find some way to put a character or a cast member up in that observation tower. It's something that I've been asking for years. Now is the time. Let's do it. We'll go to Adventures Campus next, where the update from the walls is about the same. The walls that they have out at Adventures HQ. They're building a gift shop inside of there. And we saw those walls. Well, those walls have been up for a while, and the hole in the wall is still there. Otherwise, no update. Meanwhile, over at San Fransokyo, Disney has confirmed an opening date, August 31st. The whole thing will be completely open. We're going to see food as soon as July 19th. And yes, that is tomorrow. Hopefully, if you're seeing this today, which I'm hoping, that means tomorrow will be our first opportunity to sample some of the food at San Fransokyo. And that'll be at the Lucky Fortune Cookery, where this is new to me, but the sign is gone. They took the sign down at Lucky Fortune Cookery. I did not notice this at first. There should be a big sign up there on the roof. But now we have this sort of temporary sign for the Lucky Fortune Cookery down in front. Meanwhile, to its left, they put up some walls here. And a little bit of scrim there. I just noticed that as well. There's some scrim up there, possibly for new art, new paint on the side of the building there. I'm going to be there tomorrow to try some of that food. Can't wait to give it our first check, because Lucky Fortune has some new menu items that we're looking forward to trying. Can't wait to do that. By the way, meanwhile, down the way, Ghirardelli, this is the first time I've noticed they've got new art at the entrance of Ghirardelli's as well. But otherwise, everything is about as it were. The Baymax meet and greet area and the gift shop area are still behind construction walls, as is the cerveceria and the entrance and or exit to the bridge, which, by the way, is still white. They still have not painted the new addendums to the bridge. Quick reminder, Toy Story Midway Mania is going down for an extended refurb. It's closed now and will be closed until August 17th, just about a month from now. No word on what it is that they're doing, what the closure is for. We'll let you know if we see or hear anything. Embarcadero Gifts, still under construction walls, scrim and scaffolding. This is kind of a non-story here. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be paying attention to this. But yeah, they're still painting. With that, we'll take this story back to Disneyland and look at the Adventureland Restrooms for the last time probably. All we can see now are these walls. They have put up scrim on the other side of that wall, so I can't peek through the knotholes. But I can tell you that I don't believe that they're anywhere near to finishing this than they were last week. This is going to be a while. On my travels throughout the park, I made my way through Galaxy's Edge and noticed for the first time in a while that I've seen the extended queue reach all the way to the back part of the extended queue. Usually this area is empty, which is wild. The wait time was still just 70 minutes, though. Meanwhile, at the marketplace, man, this is kind of awkward. What is happening? I don't know what to make of this. This is kind of awkward. We'll leave Galaxy's Edge and head to Fantasyland, where scrim and scaffold are still up around the Fantasyland Restrooms by the Red Rose Tavern and the Red Rose Tavern itself. Took a peek inside. There's still nothing is happening. This is all exterior only. Nothing happening on the interior of Red Rose Tavern. Mr. Toad's still under scrim and scaffold, but it is still open. It will be closing again soon, in a week, I think. Alice in Wonderland is still closed, with work happening again on the entrance sign with the mushroom. We'll go to Toontown next. Say hi to Pete. He's always fun to check out. Hey, Pete. He's a great-looking Walkerman character, I gotta say. It's nice seeing Pete around. What's also positive are these walls up around Donald's boat. This is the splash pad area. We've been waiting for them to open the splash pad. We have since found out these construction walls are to redo the grading on the flooring. Turns out the reason why they weren't able to turn the splash pad on is because the water was not flowing correctly. It was flowing to the left towards Goofy's house, towards the other side of Donald's boat. And they want to regrade it so that the water flows towards the center, towards the drain. I'm not sure how they could have not gotten that right to begin with, but that's my understanding, is that they need to address the water flow issues. Let's go to the Adventureland Treehouse next. This is interesting. They've put up coverings. It's not exactly a wall. That looks like cardboard and duct tape that's keeping that, but they're blocking our view, obviously, is what they're doing. They don't want us to see whatever it is they're doing in there, which is a good sign. It's a sign that they may be nearing completion, not necessarily for the whole treehouse, but for at least the daughter's room. They're about to do some stuff in there that they don't want us to get a look at yet. Otherwise, down on the ground, nothing new to report here. Everything is about as we left it the last week, which is about as we left it the week before that as well. So I got nothing to remark on this part in the kitchen area. Just looking for anything, any signs of anything here in the tree, but I really shouldn't expect it. The design elements, the theming is all going to be happening in the rooms. Very little on the stairs, etc. No update on the entrance that they appear to be building here, although I'm not even positive that's what they're doing. But I feel like that is probably what they're doing. Peek through the walls, and I have come to the conclusion that what we're seeing here, I believe, is them building the exit, the staircase from the exit from the son's room. That's what they're constructing here, I believe. I'm not positive, but that's what it looks like to me, along with a whole bunch of rock work, obviously. Just trying to see anything here at all, but it's quite a mess. I talk about how it feels like they're close to finishing the daughter's room and the son's room, but they ain't anywhere near close to finishing this area. More mesh for rock work. That's a tarp. That's a tarp. That's not rock. Yeah, they're a long way off on this. I mean, I don't know how quickly they can wrap up something like this, but it just doesn't look like they're near done. Months still. I think it's still months away. I mentioned the son's room. As we scan in, I can see that they're starting to put up some coverings there as well. They're putting a tarp over there, so that's going to obscure whatever it is that they're installing inside. We're going to be looking for, remember, plant life, animals, and then here's some last shots. I was in the Pirates queue, and I thought I would take a peek in here just to see if I could see anything. It's a little closer, but it's an upward angle, and it's hard to see anything from this perspective, but you know what? I gave it a shot. If you see anything, let me know. I would be happy to receive any input on anything that can be seen here. As always, we'll pivot to the right and take a look at Tianas Palace. While we were at Cafe Orleans, I happened to spot an artist painting on the wall. You could see he had already done the Tianas Palace lettering there. He's doing some sort of flourish. It looks like there's some text right about in his midsection area, but I can't read it, but he's adding some flourish to that. That's kind of neat. There's the Tianas Palace artwork that has already been painted and in place. So you can't see what he was working on because it's below the roof or below the wall line from that angle. Here we go. This is exciting. We're back at the front of Tianas Palace, and you can see they have in fact installed the steam pipe to the roof line there next to the window, the wheelhouse window, and you can see the steam pipe there. I'm sure there's a matching one on the other side, but that's cool. That means that, again, we are getting very close here, and I feel like that's more true every week because this view has not changed in the last couple of weeks. So they are done with it. They're done with most of the outward stuff, I would think. Like as we reported earlier, the mint julep bar sign and the mint julep art, the lettering on the wall have been updated. And every time I come back, that staging area gets less and less cluttered. There's more and more to see with the eye each time I come back to Tianas Palace. So they are nearly done. I'm going to guess it could be as early as August that we see this place open again. We'll be hearing from Disneyland soon, giving us an update on an opening date and probably a foodie guide, because there's going to be almost an entirely new menu, as I understand it. Just a few things have survived or will survive from the previous menu. The only thing we're really waiting for is for them to finish whatever it is that they're doing inside, the food service area, where they have the commissary style food service. man, it looks like prep for, you know, cutting metal or cutting wood. I just see staging. I don't see any actual building happening in there. Not that I would expect to. This is such a poor angle. We're not going to see much, but it does look like they're actually doing some construction inside, which is kind of neat. Let's take a walk through New Orleans Square alongside the Haunted Mansion, which, as we reported last week, it will be closing on August 14th. Just the day before I shot this, they were holding the Haunted Mansion premiere here, where they had a whole bunch of signs, and it was really neat looking, but not a lot. It was kind of a lackluster premiere, unfortunately, because of the SAG strike. So no celebrities, nothing to see. Bob Gurr was the most important sighting that I saw on that day. It was kind of eh. So I filmed stuff, but I didn't even put it out because it wasn't worth reporting on. Here's the front of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and as we scan the scaffolding covering the mountain, I noticed that the tree trunk is a little more transparent than I remember it being in weeks prior. I feel like they have begun taking apart. I thought it would be in bigger pieces, but they're like stripping it almost. If my eyes do not deceive me, that is. This looks like they're kind of taking it apart little piece by little piece. And to the point now where you can see through it, right? It wasn't like that just a week ago. So I do feel like the demo has begun on the mountain. Is it week 8? Are we on week 8 now? Week 8, and the secret path is still open. On this occasion, we happen to find the Mark Twain. It was empty though. Probably doing, a test lap after it was closed for a minute. Nice, quiet, no music, no nothing coming out of the Mark Twain on this occasion. Week 8, and the Briar Patch is still open, and our friend Brer Rabbit is still in there, still waiting for anything to happen there. But we have action right next to the Briar Patch. There are a few things that we're keeping an eye on, and how long it takes for them to be removed. One of the things that I was observing was the Briar Patch theming area that's down there in the extended queue next to the old Fast Pass station. It's gone. That Briar Patch thing is gone. It should be peeking out over that wall. It is not. So I got on the train to see how that looks, and they have definitely dug that up. All of that area down there has been removed. It's nothing but dirt now, and they're going to make way. The tree was spared, but they're going to make way for a new, fully themed extended queue in that section. Here's another look at the tree trunk from the Hungry Bear. Yeah, I mean, that's transparent where it wasn't before, right? Here's a shot to the left, and notice you can see a whole bunch of stuff being assembled behind. That's actually, I want to say that's actually in the ride portion. Or is that the queue? Just behind that house is standby queue, and then over those rocks, yeah, that's ride. That's where the boats would pass by. So they're doing some sort of staging there, or destruction of something, and you can see that. You can actually see it from the Mark Twain. Unfortunately, I had the wrong camera with me at the time. I only had my phone, so it's going to be very grainy here. But yeah, you can see that you can see quite a bit actually from here. So we'll come back next week with Grandpa. Actually, I did come back, I should say. I got back on the Mark Twain later with Grandpa, but the top deck was closed, so you can't see anything unless you're on the top deck. We'll come back next week and get a top deck view on the Mark Twain of this to see what we can see down there. But there's a lot happening down there. You can see that. All kinds of stuff happening there. Back on the ground, situation normal at the traditional entrance to Splash Mountain, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. All the homes are still there that we've been keeping an eye on. The birdhouse and whatever, I forget whose house that is to its right. Yeah, there it is again. The one on the forward side of the tree trunk from this angle. That house is still there. What's not there anymore, last week we reported that Brer Rabbit was gone from the Brer Bear wooden sculpture. The entire sculpture is now gone. Nothing but empty space where that sculpture used to be. Stay tuned to Fresh Bake, because we'll be keeping an eye on this to find out how long some of these things last. in the Splash Mountain space. But for now, we'll go to downtown Disney, check in on the hotel. This is a shot from the street team of what's happening between the Frontier Tower and the DVC, the new DVC wing. I don't know what they're doing over here, but they're doing something. And it looks like they're pretty much done with the pool at the Pixar Place Hotel. The splash pad has been completely painted. It looks great from up here, by the way. That looks really fun. And the pool is full of water. They've got all the lawn, the deck chairs and everything out. At least I think that's what I'm looking at. Those are lounge chairs. At least some of that is lounge chairs. Anyway, it does look like they're very close to being done there. Meanwhile, let's end on some really fascinating shots from the downtown Disney construction site, which gives us a great view of the three projects that are, it's three now. It was two that we were paying attention to, but now it's three. And that third one, the first is the Best Buy, the second is the building that's adjacent to the Well of the Souls, and the third site that is propped up is this. Our guitar pick stage is vertical, and they're building the guitar pick stage, which now allows for the entire site for it to come, it's starting to come into focus a little bit. We can start to define where things are, what is going to happen, what we should be seeing based on the concept art. Here's the concept art. There's the guitar pick stage. Right behind that is the tree in the concept art. Right behind that is the Best Buy, and then the monorail runs alongside the back of the Best Buy there. So now we definitely have a frame of reference. We have a starting point to try to predict and follow the progress of what's happening. Now things get interesting though, because in the concept art, it looks a little more compressed than what we're seeing in reality. That is if, for example, you assume that the building next to the Well of the Souls is this building in the concept art. Is it? I don't know. That's a lot of empty space between the Best Buy and the and that building to the far end. I'm kind of thinking it is. Take a look at this shot here. We get a little closer. There's Best Buy. That right there, right in front of the Best Buy, looks like footings for the next guitar pick. In the concept art, there's supposed to be two of those, right? One on the left, one on the right. I want to say those are the footings because they look just like the footings that we saw a week or two ago when we didn't know what it was. We didn't realize that was going to be the guitar pick stage. Then that looks just like it did back then. So I'm going to assume that's the second guitar pick stage, which is supposed to be right up next to the Best Buy. But in that concept art, the building is much closer to that. So either the concept art is not accurate at all, that it's more compressed than reality, or there's another building coming in this space where they're doing all that staging, which I don't think so, which would also mean that this building over here next to the Well of Souls is not even in frame. I guess it could be, because the concept art does show us that there's something existing on the opposite side of the grassy area, and the guitar pick stages. It could be that there's another building. I don't know. If they were in fact building, or there's supposed to be another building here, I feel like they would have been doing that already, right? Meanwhile, in the center here, I'm going to assume that that's the grassy play area that they're building there. Now again, that's a lot, I don't know, man. That's a lot further away from the Best Buy than the concept art shows. Again, I'm not trying to say the concept art has to be 100% accurate, but it's not close in terms of the dimension. And then you can see over here, it looks like they've got forms set up. They're going to start building or putting some concrete in here. What this is, I'm not positive. I'm going to guess that it's whatever this walkway right here, perhaps next to the guitar pick stage. That looks like it could be potentially concrete, probably concrete, a path separating two grassy areas. Again, that doesn't line up visually with what we see in the concept art in terms of the space, how they're using the space. Here's a closer look, by the way, of that building that they're constructing. Steel has gone vertical here. They're putting in a lot of steel. building some sort of fortified structure here next to the Well of the Souls. And you can see that the well has got the footings are in at the Well of the Souls. So, foundation is coming. By the way, that means they're going to build another concrete structure there. Just like the Best Buy, just like this building. They're going to build another. That's this building. It's got to be, right? Okay, so that means, it's got to be this building that's just out of frame. It has to be. Which means if we go back, something still has to be built here. I don't see any footings or anything for a structure there. Oh man, that's gonna bother me. That's gonna bother me for a little while until we get some sort of, new updated shots there. I don't know, man. I can't wait to see how this develops because I love trying to, create and solve mysteries and try to figure out things, in advance to see if we can't call it out. So, those of you staying at the Disneyland Hotel in the what is that, the Adventure Tower, send us your photos, man. Street team, and you can also see this site from the Pixar Place Hotel, although you need something with a decent zoom to see that. But yeah, guys, please keep us up to date on this because we can't ride the monorail for another month. Good reason to stay tuned for these weekly shows. We do a Disneyland construction update every week. We try to get it done on Monday if we can, if not Tuesday. Follow us here on YouTube. If you enjoy watching construction footage at the Disneyland Resort, we are your destination. Follow us on Instagram also at _FreshBaked. On Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked.